guys, it's Tara here, and today we're answering 30 of the most common questions in Ark, from where to find silica pearls to how to tame a wyvern. Whether you're new to the game or you've been playing for years, I guarantee you'll learn something from this video. Be sure to subscribe if you like Ark content, and let's jump right in with the first question. Number 1, how do I remove a leech in Ark? Leeches can attach to you or your tames, draining health and possibly transmitting swamp fever. To remove them from yourself, approach fire, so a campfire, standing torch, cooking pot, and interact to burn it off. For tames, if there's a leech on your tame, walk up close and press the interact button, which would be E on PC, Y on Xbox, triangle on PlayStation, to open up the menu and pull it off manually. If it's a diseased leech, then you have to immediately craft and consume lesser antidote to cure the infection. Fun fact, leeches don't attack or attach themselves to tames that are native to the swamp, like Beezel bufos, making them great for hunting leeches. Number 2, how do I make gasoline in Ark? Craft gasoline in a refining forge or industrial forge by combining 6 oil and 5 hide. Each cycle takes 30 seconds and produces 5 gasoline. It never spoils, so you can store large quantities without worry. To get oil, you can harvest it from oil rocks, underwater oil nodes, oil veins, or creatures like Basilisaurus. Hide is obtained, obviously, from most land creatures. Gasoline also powers the Fabricator, chemistry bench, industrial forge, and more, so producing it in bulk early saves you a lot of trips later. Number 3, how do I find beaver dams in Ark? Beaver dams are scattered around rivers, lakes, and ponds, usually in forested or mountainous areas. On the island, common spots include the rivers in the redwoods, the pond near Hidden Lake, and the river south of the volcano. On Ragnarok, Viking Bay, and the Highlands River are full of them. On Valgaro, check the lake in the White Cliffs and the streams in the redwoods. Dams look like large piles of sticks in shallow water and are guarded by beavers. Inside, you'll often find huge amounts of cementing paste, silica pearls, and rare flowers. In case you were wondering, why do I need to look for beaver dams? Always empty the dam completely or it won't respawn. Be on the lookout for an aggressive response from nearby beavers once you open the inventory. They can deal serious damage if you're unprepared, so don't be unprepared. Number 4, how do I get cementing paste in Ark? Cementing paste is crafted in a mortar and pestle or chemistry bench. The recipe is 4 chitin or keratin and 8 stone. A fast way to gather it early is raiding those aforementioned beaver dams, which often contain hundreds. Just be aware of the angry beavers. Mid-game, farming bugs for chitin or taming a frog to eat bugs in swamps can net huge amounts. Snails also passively produce a paste which acts as cementing paste. Keep it stocked, it's used in advanced crafting like turrets, platform saddles, and greenhouses. Number 5, how do I get polymer in Ark? Polymer comes in 2 forms, organic and crafted. Organic polymer is harvested from Kairuku, which is the penguins, Mantis, and Hesperornis, or from special white bulb-like plants on some maps like Apparition. Crafting polymer is made in a fabricator from 2 obsidian and 2 cementing paste per unit. Note that while organic polymer can always be used in place of polymer, it is not as ideal because it has a spoil timer and can only stack up to 20, while regular polymer can stack up to 100. If farming organic, use a club or sword on penguins for best yield. For large-scale crafting like turrets or tech gear, it is better to mass-produce standard polymer near an obsidian source. Number 6, how do I make cryopods in Ark? Cryopods are crafted in a fabricator or obelisk with crystal fiber, hide, metal ingots, oil, and polymer. They require a cryo fridge for long-term storage, otherwise they expire over time. Cryopods let you store creatures and deploy them anywhere, saving massive base space and rendering load. They're essential for transferring tames between maps and doing boss fights without teleport crowding. Keep spares, of course, because there's nothing worse than taming something far away and realizing you forgot one. Definitely note that on Ark Survival Evolved, you do not need a cryo fridge to use one, but in Survival Ascended, you need a cryo fridge nearby to release your tame. Number 7, how do I make metal tools in Ark? Metal tools require metal ingots, hide, and wood, and they're crafted in a smithy. First, you have to smelt the raw metal from metal-rich rocks in a refining forge. At the smithy, I recommend starting with a metal pick, so you can immediately harvest higher yields of metal. Then make a hatchet and a pike. Upgrade early, it drastically speeds up gathering. Those little round river rocks on shores are a great way to harvest metal early game. Number 8, how do I hatch eggs in Ark? To hatch fertilized eggs, drop them in an area with the correct temperature. Use campfires, torches, air conditioners, or otters to regulate the temperature. The egg's tooltip shows the required range. Once hatched, the baby must be hand-fed from its inventory until it can eat from troughs. Keep an eye on imprinting intervals for stat boosts. Some eggs, like wyverns and rock drakes, require special conditions like extreme heat or cold. If you plan on breeding often, set up a climate-controlled hatchery with multiple AC units. Number 9, how do I cure swamp fever? Swamp fever is contracted from diseased leeches or infected players. It reduces stats and can spread to others. You can cure it with lesser antidote made in a mortar and pestle from rare flowers, rare mushrooms, leech blood, and narcotics. Once cured, avoid reinfection by keeping your distance from infected creatures and wearing a gas mask in the swamps. Number 10, how do I tame a wyvern in Ark? Wyverns can't be tamed traditionally. You must steal a fertilized egg from the wyvern trench or similar biome and hatch it. Use a flyer like an Argent or a Griffin to swoop in, grab the egg, and escape. You have to raise the baby in extreme heat and feed it the correct Vern milk obtained by knocking out a female wyvern. Breeding wyverns isn't possible without mods, so you'll need to repeat the egg theft for more. Number 11. How do I get silica pearls in Ark? Pearls are found underwater in shiny clam-like nodes. On the island, check the deep ocean floor or the rivers in the snow biome. On Ragnarok, Pearl Lake in Viking Bay is rich with them. On Aberration, pearls are found in riverbeds, shallow lakes. Harvest with your hands or a tame like the anglerfish, which gets huge yields. Pearls are used for a lot of things like electronics and saddles and tech gear, so it's worth stocking up. Note that on Survival Evolved, the silica pearls are very bright blue and easy to spot. On Survival Ascended, they're really annoying, they actually don't stand out, and they basically look like a regular rock. Look for the bright white dots on them, it's the only defining characteristic to set them apart from a regular rock, as I've found. Number 12. How do I make kibble in Ark? Kibble is crafted in a cooking pot or industrial cooker with one egg and a specific combination of fiber, water, berries, vegetables, and meat, depending on the kibble tier. Higher tier kibbles require rarer eggs and crops like rock carrot or citronelle. Kibble greatly speeds up taming and improves taming effectiveness. Always match the creature's preferred kibble tier. Prepping a kibble farm early saves huge amounts of time later. I feel like I've said kibble too many times that the word sounds weird to me now. Anyways, number 13. How do I tame a Quetzel in Ark? Quetzels are airborne and they never land, making them very tricky to tame. The most common method is using a flyer that has a double saddle like a tapahera, with a passenger who can shoot trank darts at them. In single player, you can grapple to the mount and shoot while the tame follows. Good luck figuring that out. Another solo method is riding a tapahera, switching to the passenger seat mid-flight to shoot. Once unconscious, ideally over land, feed exceptional kibble, raw mutton, or prime meat. Quetzels are excellent for carrying heavy loads and building mobile bases thanks to their platform saddles. Number 14. How do I get obsidian in Ark? Obsidian is found in black, shiny rock nodes, often high in mountains or volcanic areas. On the island, rich spots include the volcano and peaks near the red obelisk. On scorched earth, check high mesas. Mesas? The peaks of those tall, flat rocks. On Aberration, obsidian spawns in the Grave of the Lost. Obsidian is combined with cementing paste to craft polymer, scissors, handcuffs, and more. It's also heavy AF, so bring a weight-carrying tame for best results. Number 15. How do I find rock drake eggs in Aberration? Rock drake eggs are only found on Aberration deep within the hazardous drake trench in the elemental chamber. The trench is crawling with aggressive adult rock drakes, and it's loaded with radiation, so you'll need a hazard suit or tech suit to survive. The easiest way to get in and out alive is with a fast mount that can climb and glide like a tamed rock drake from a previous egg, a reaper with high health, or a Carcinos for jumping. I got my first one with a Carcinos, which wasn't easy, but I bounced my way up into a nest eventually. Eggs are located in large cliffside nests throughout the trench, each one guarded by one or more drakes. Grab the egg quickly. Once taken, every nearby drake will probably aggro on you. Bring multiple hazard suits because one will probably break mid-run, and that's a death sentence in the radiation zone. Also, not all tames will survive in the radiation zone. That's why I highly recommend something like a Carcinos, because they're not affected by radiation. Number 16. How do I make element in Ark? Element is crafted differently depending on the map. On the island, defeat bosses to earn it. On Extinction, farm element dust and refine it into element in a city terminal. On Aberration, you can craft it at an element crafting station using element ore and gems. Element powers tech structures, weapons, and armor. Store it carefully as it can't be transferred between maps on official servers. You could also get it from tech creatures, but they are not on Ascended yet, unfortunately. Number 17. How do I get rare flowers in Ark? Rare flowers are harvested from swamp plants, beaver dams, and certain mountain bushes. On the island, use a thero in swamps or mountain peaks for high yields. On Ragnarok, gather them in the highland beehive areas. Rare flowers are used for crafting lesser antidote, mind wipe tonics, and for luring aggressive herbivores, if that's your thing. They can also be fed to bees to tame them. Number 18. How do I protect my base in PvP Ark? I've never played PvP in Ark before, so I'm relying on good old Google for this one. Layer defenses, high walls, plant species X or Y, and auto turrets. Avoid predictable base spots like beaches, built-in hard-to-reach areas. Hide your loot in multiple stacks. Keep your generator powered and your fuel stocked. Log out inside well-defended interiors and avoid leaving high-value tames exposed. If you guys have PvP tips for Ark, drop them in the comments below. Number 19. How do I make a Fabricator? The Fabricator is crafted in a smithy with metal ingots, spark powder, crystal, oil, and cementing paste. It also requires gasoline to run. The Fabricator allows advanced crafting like firearms, polymer, scopes, scuba gear, and turrets. It does take up a fair bit of space, so make sure you have room for it in your base. Number 20. How do I get electronics in Ark? Electronics are crafted in a Fabricator from 3 silica pearls and 1 metal ingot. They're essential for turrets, fridges, tech gears, and GPS units, stuff like that. You can also get them from tech creatures on Survival Evolved. Someone on Reddit said they don't exist on Ascended yet as they didn't come out on the original until Extinction was released, so we'll see. Number 21. How do I get black pearls in Ark? Black pearls are rare and mainly used for tech gear and some advanced saddles, and things like motorboats. On the island, they're harvested from Tusoteuthis, alpha mosasaurs, and trilobites. On scorched earth, you can get them from deathworms. Good luck dealing with a deathworm, they're about as unfriendly as their name. On maps like Aberration, certain surface loot crates contain them. Genesis and Extinction offer easy farming via gachas that produce black pearls. If farming from from Tusos, use a high damage water mount like a Basilisaurus or a Mosa. Black pearls are also very heavy, so bring a mount with high weight. Number 22, how do I tame a Basilisaurus in Ark? Basilisaurus is a passive tame found in shallow seas. Approach while mounted on a non-aggressive water tame and feed it exceptional kibble or preferred meat. Watch for manta rays and sharks that follow them and clear them out first. Basilas are immune to stun effects from eels and jellyfish, making them great for underwater farming. They also produce oil passively in their inventory. Number 23, how do I get crystal in Ark? Crystal nodes are shiny white rocks, often found in mountain peaks, snowy areas, and caves. On the island, the top spots include the Volcano, Frozen Tooth, and White Sky Peak. Harvest with a metal pick or have an Argent carry an Ankylo for bulk harvesting. A beginner-friendly place to find a bit of crystal is Lower South Cave, located at 85.3 latitude and 54.2 longitude on Ascended. You can harvest some just past the entrance before you hit any enemies. Number 24, how do I make a refrigerator? The refrigerator is crafted in a Fabricator from 120 metal ingots, 10 electronics, 15 polymer, and 25 crystal. It runs on electricity from a generator and keeps food from spoiling at a greatly reduced rate. It's great for preserving kibble, meat, and medical brews long term. Number 25, how do I craft medical brews in Ark? Medical brew is made in a cooking pot or industrial cooker with 20 tinto berries, 2 narcotics, and water. It restores 40 health over time and has no cooldown, making it a PvE and PvP staple. Always keep a stack before heading into cave, boss fights, or those crazy high predator zones. Number 26, how do I get sap in Ark? Sap is gathered by placing a tree sap tap on a redwood tree. It's got to be one of those giant redwoods, not just any tree in that biome. On some maps, cactus plants can also yield cactus sap, which can work as a substitute. Sap is used for sweet vegetable cake, fishing bait, and crafting some saddles. Taps work passively but slowly, so check them every so often to collect it. Number 27, how do I survive the winter biome in Ark? To survive up north, you're going to need a lot of points in fortitude and probably a full set of winter clothes to not die. You can raft to the edge of the biome and try to pick off creatures that contain pelt, like rhinos or mammoths. Alternatively, the deer-like creatures prancing around the redwoods are also easy pickings. Craft your fur armor in the smithy, and that's step 1. Step 2 is to build a base with all doors and windows and a campfire inside so that when snowstorms hit, you're impervious to them. There's also predators everywhere, so choose an area where you don't see a lot of crazy fights happening. They happen to spawn in the same areas pretty consistently. Number 28, how do I get chitin in Ark? Chitin is harvested from insects and arthropods like scorpions, spiders, and trilobites. Caves are the best farming spots, especially with a tame like a megatherium, assuming it fits in the cave, which gains a damage buff against insects. Chitin is used in cementing paste, armor, and saddles. If farming on foot, bring good melee weapons and armor to handle swarms. Number 29, how do I make fertilizer in Ark? Place thatch and animal feces in a compost bin or use a dung beetle on Wander. Be careful, those dung beetles are little escape artists. Make sure they have a good pen. It takes about 50 minutes for a bin to produce fertilizer. It's more effective than raw feces for crops and stacks well for storage. Keep multiple bins going if you want to supply large farms. Number 30, how do I harvest honey in Ark? Honey is harvested from beehives found in redwood forests, cliffs, and certain unique spots on different maps. On the island, wild beehives spawn on redwood trees. To harvest safely, wear a ghillie suit and use bug repellent to prevent the bees from attacking you when you get close. You can also break the hive with weapons like shotguns to collect the honey, but this will destroy it and anger the bees. The safer, sustainable method is to tame a giant bee queen. Place the hive it produces and access it with rare flowers in its inventory to generate honey over time. You can also tame a dire bear, as they can harvest honey without aggroing the hive. Honey is used in cooking recipes like sweet vegetable cake, as fishing bait, and more. And a bonus one, how do I deal with mega rabies in Ark? Mega rabies is a deadly status effect contracted from bats in caves. When bitten, your health rapidly drains and the debuff can spread to nearby players. To avoid infection, always use bug repellent and wear high quality armor. You can also avoid aggro entirely by staying mounted on a tame that can reach the bats before they touch you. Also, using a gun that can snipe the bats ahead of time is highly recommended. If you do get infected, the only cure is an antidote brew. Keep multiple antidotes on your hotbar when you're caving. If you're unprepared, retreat immediately. Mega rabies can kill you in under 90 seconds. Well, if you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button and be sure to watch the video on screen here about bad decisions Ark players have made. Trust me, you'll probably recognize yourself in at least one of them. We'll see you over there.